Hey all our Norwegian friends. Hi Martin, hi Kira, hi Martin, hi Torstein. We're kind of experimenting here. This is our first attempt at using this new little internet camera that we just got yesterday. I told you I'd try to get you some very informal videos of some of the different application systems that we talked about during my visit. I'm back here in sunny Florida here today. You remember Danny?
How you doing,
and
guys?
this is our dual line application system that we mentioned. I want to show you two different systems, but I think in this first video we'll experiment with getting it into a form that's readily emailable. Let us know you know how it works, and then if this works well, hopefully we can do this pretty regularly and improve our communication with you guys way across on the other side of the Atlantic. But this is a relatively new system. I want to just point out some of the general concepts, and Danny will jump in because he actually knows the system better than I do, but just a couple of general comments about the system. This is based on, Martin, you'll remember when you were here many years ago at our first dealer meeting, we talked about the dual line hose system. One line used to pump the water, one line used to pump the concentrate. At that point it was really just a concept that we had patents pending on. The patents have now issued, and we granted a license to this particular company to produce this machine for us. They're located, as I think I told you, they're located over on the west coast of the U.S. in the state of Washington. Oregon, yeah. So we'll kind of point out the different essentials of how it works. First of all, the dual line itself. I think this can tell you a lot. A picture is worth 1,000 words type of thing. There's two lines that come into the nozzle. This first larger line is the water line, the water pressure line. It's got a regular water pump. This particular system can pump pressures, Danny, higher than 150 psi.
Absolutely, yeah. And from what I understand, you can get about up to about 400 feet of hose if necessary, and it will carry the gel sufficiently through that amount of hose.
Right, and then the second smaller line, it's a heavy duty. You can see it's kind of like a hydraulic service line. The second smaller line carries the gel out to the end. So the first obvious advantage of this system over all of our other former systems that we've offered in the past is that the firefighter out at the end of the line doesn't have to have any bucket, he doesn't have to have any jug of barricade. All the firefighter has in his hand is this system, so there's an obvious advantage there. While I'm out here, I'll turn it around and show you a couple more things about the system. Obviously, the bail turns the water on and off. It does have an adjustable fog nozzle. It goes from straight stream to fog, just like any other nozzle. It does come apart, although I may need a wrench, but the nozzle does unscrew for cleanup. And then this is one of the pieces that the company that we worked with engineered specially for this system. It's an adjustable metering valve, and it's pretty easy. We specifically designed it so it can be used easily with a firefighter with a gloved hand. It's just a control knob, and basically it goes from off, which is plain water flowing, to wide open, which is a very thick gel, and you can see it can be easily adjusted anywhere in between very quickly and easily. So essentially the firefighter operating out at the end of the nozzle essentially has 1, 2, maybe 3 controls. One, he turns the water on and off with the bail. 2, he adjusts the amount of gel concentrate from plain water to thick gel and anywhere in between with this, and then he just simply adjusts the pattern with the adjustable fog or straight stream depending on what he may need. So that's kind of that end of the hose. Now let's go to the other end and take a look at the system itself.
And one thing I think that's important to point out is these systems, you know, right now it's not set up, but we do have a battery option which allows you to you know, it's electric hose reel basically, so you're not having to reel it in manually. And,
right. And then you can see as you go farther down the line, the company has installed a cover to cover both the hoses, so it essentially operates as a single hose once you get past this point. This actually, if you look real close, is actually just a piece of fire hose that is used to cover the two hoses and keep it all intact. That's one end of the system. Now, some of the other features. Kelly is our photographer here. Kelly, if you'll zoom in. Guys, this is the concentrate tank. Now, again, this is just a system that the company put together for us to kind of use as a demonstrator. Quite frankly, there's some changes that I would make in this concentrate tank, but there's also some good things. First of all, let's go with the good things. The good things are it's got a wide mouth for easy filling. You can zoom in down here, Kelly. You can see that, guys. You can see that there's two lines coming out of the tank. Let's talk about that. The two lines are, one, it feeds obviously out to the end of the hose, but the other feature with the second line is there's a built-in automatic recirculation, so that anytime the pump is running, this gel tank gets constantly recycled. And as you guys know, that's an important requirement of the Barricade product, is that it gets recycled on a regular basis. So that's one of the good design features built right in. Anytime the system is up and running, the concentrate tank is being recycled. And you can see right now this has been sitting, I haven't touched this since before my trip to see you guys over there in Norway. And you can see that there's a little bit of oil separation on the top. This is an expected occurrence after the product sits. But once we crank this up, it'll take that, it picks it up from the bottom and recirculates it, so it will take care of that separation that occurs in the product. So that's a very good feature. This is really symbolic here. This is just the water tank. Obviously this is only, what, Danny, 100 gallons
right,
or
we've
so.
got a 100-gallon demo unit for the water supply.
But the water supply obviously could be whatever size water tank you need. Obviously, if we're talking in terms of the oil platform potential applications, I noticed when I was with Torstein that everything is modular. Everything is on skids and modular, and this concept would fit right into that. This whole thing is and probably will remain modular, so it could be placed into service in the oil platform. So this design kind of fits right into that concept. All right, Kelly, if you'll come around on this side now. So out of the water tank goes into the fire pump. Now the fire pump is again nothing special. This happens to be, what, Danny, a Davy?
This is a 6 horsepower Davy, but one thing, just as John relayed with the water source, if you were to retrofit this with existing equipment or anything like that, you would actually be using an existing fire pump and or water source, meaning that you would have you could generate just the same amount of pressure that you currently can. This is a scaled down model for demonstrations and easy transport, but you could basically, you know, use the biggest pump you wanted to increase your reach and obviously tank for water capacity.
And then obviously this happens to be a gasoline powered pump that drives the water pump, but really probably the most unique feature about this whole system and where all the engineering work took place in designing this is right here, this dual gearbox. The dual gearbox, as you can see, it's hooked up to the engine, but it powers both the water pump and the pump that pumps the gel concentrate out to the end of the hose. So the way it works, the speed of the engine obviously affects the speed of the pump and the pressure of the pump, but they're both connected to the same source, the same engine. So it's a balanced system. In other words, as the pump slows down, the amount of water slows down, the amount of water decreases going out the hose. Same thing with the gel. So it's a balanced system, and then of course it can be adjusted out at the end also as needed. So this is kind of right now the heart and the unique feature of this system is this dual gearbox. And then a lot of research work went into also the selection of this particular pump, right, for pumping the concentrate. But it's a real simple operation. You can see you get the motor running. This is just simply an on-off valve for the gel concentrate.
Yep.
When
it's on when it's in this position or even in the upward position, and it's
right.
in neutral at this point.
So the pump operator, the person operating at this point, could turn the gel flow on or off. And then also, of course, the operator out at the end of the hose also has the ability to turn the gel concentrate on and off. That's kind of the heart of the system, guys. We're going to purposefully keep this video short, but maybe before we end, Danny, is it ready to start up and run?
Yeah, I think so. We'll
go ahead, and it'll probably be a little noisy, but Dan, why don't you start it up and run it?
Another thing, gentlemen, with us not having the battery attached, you know, it is a pull start, but there is an option to actually be able to turn a switch and have it turn right on.
Over here, Kelly. Over here, you can see it's got the connection. We just don't have it hooked up. But if you had a 12-volt battery on a truck or whatever, then it would plug into here, and then both the electric rewind for the hose reel and the electric start feature for the gasoline pump would operate.
Okay, and assuming our fluids have all been filled, we're going to go ahead and start it up here.
Okay, well, I hope that was instructive, guys. Like I said, we just got this brand new camera yesterday. We're having fun with it. We'll experiment, and if this turns into a good way for us to communicate and show you our systems over here, like I said, if this works well, we'll try to get this in the email to you today. And if this works well, the next thing we want to show you is the high pressure system that we developed. It's the system that we talked about that operates off of pretty much a standard pressure washer.
Lower flow but higher pressure with atomization.
So give us a call with any questions, but hopefully a moving picture is worth 1,000 words. Thanks.
Thanks, guys.